Hello, Barbara Derrick here from Native Studio Art. How is everybody doing today? I'm going to move the comment section over here and I have some really good stuff lined up for you today. And I want to talk a little bit about being intentional as an artist or someone who's in a creative field. And when I talk about being intentional, it's about doing something on purpose. On purpose is having the planning and the consistency, and so I thought that would be a really good topic. Now, that plan and doing something on purpose, a lot of us we do book studies, or we take courses online, or maybe not. As artists, we generally want to work our craft. In order to get our work out into the eyes of the audience, and what we referred to yesterday when I talked about stories. And it's so important to tell that story for every piece of art that's created. And maybe we're just taking downtime, like 20-30 minutes, to get away from the stress and the rush of every day, like that daily grind. Sometimes we use art to relax, and sometimes we use art to express, and sometimes we do art to act, or to vocalize, to sing, or just to create a permanent object, like in sculpture and carving and ceramics and that kind of thing. Now, I knew a long time ago that my art didn't move by itself. And remember from yesterday in day 6, because we're in day 7 now, I talked about how to show up, and showing up every day as part of the plan. Oh, there are so many things about limiting mindset and how we set ourselves up for failure without even recognizing it. And today I want to take you to 3 ways to be successful as an artist. And I want to tell you how important book studies are. They have been an absolute blessing for me in my artistic and creative life. And in the beginning, I wasn't reading or taking in anything other than data and research and finding out different ways the websites work and dropping my images in and marketing in terms of color, and that's not important. What's important is what's going in here. And when we're surrounded with a lot of negativity, we need to develop a plan for our health, and not just physical health. We always think that exercising and getting the muscles and the 6-pack is really important. It's really important. However, what happens is, like you, like me, here's a quote that comes to mind when it comes to consistency or showing up on a consistent base. A time comes when you need to stop waiting for the man you want to become, or woman, and start being the man you want to be. And that's by Bruce Springsteen. So 5 years ago, and my story is about the 15 laws, invaluable laws of growth today. And I've taken 3 of those laws from the first chapter. I thought I'd embed chapter by chapter in short with you. But I also want to tell you how important it was for me to do a book study, a mini one with my daughter. If you haven't read this is book study. And its importance, daring greatly. and Brene Brown. This book was given to me as a gift, and I've underlined, I've highlighted different passages in Daring Greatly with my daughter, and one thing that's highlighted here is I was trying to understand bullying behavior, and it talks about that characteristic of bullying and putting others down and walking tall and strong inside of yourself, like I talked about in one of my stories. But do a book study with your family about Daring Greatly. It's filled with such awesome information. The next one I want to share with you, next to my heart as well, and she got me so excited, was the passion test. And where are you in your life? The effort's path to discovering your life purpose. My why. And I studied this, read portions of the book to understand myself and my creative energy. And how about this one? The body keeps score. You might want to Google that. Bessel van der Kolk, Mass MD. And it's about diagnosis. The doctor talks about a whole type of different illnesses in the body-brain connection. And this is a new one on my shelf that I'm going to read. Anybody is interested in a book study, maybe we can get together and do Skype. My all-time favorite, and it's signed by John C. Maxwell. This one is close to my heart. It's sometimes you win, sometimes you learn, for teens. There's also an adult version, and it's signed, oops, go there, it's signed, do this backwards. A book study. Why is that all important? It's because you can use those kinds of tidbits and artistry, like you're going to see me pulling from the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth, another book study. It's like book study, just, you know. And it's important to fill the mind, read from the thought leaders in the industry. As a artist, it's important. It's not just important to know who's at the top of the ladder for the best art in the world, for this, that, and the other. It's important to see the ones who have already, who are already successful, leading the way. How did they do it? What are they doing to be heard? How are they showing up? And apply those as a creative person or an artist. Now, I'm going to show you how important art is as a tool. And for artists, we know bold lines, textures, color. We move whatever our medium is, we can tell you so much about it. And the rest of the world nods their head and go, yeah, 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 yeah. I'm going to switch my favorite. When my kids are growing up, games. What a way to get people involved. And so I want to share one with you today. It's Zentangle, but it's more than just more than just art. Okay, I need to pull up. If you don't have dice, rolling dice, I don't have a set. So I went, I bet you there's a virtual one. There is. And so if you go to random.org/dice, you'll get a virtual dice roll. So that's what I'm going to use as an example for you today in the art here. Okay, I'm going to switch over to here. This is the sheet, and at the top, the first, when you roll the first dice, like when you roll the dice, the first one you can pick here, and I'll give you an example, and the second one you look from up top here, from 1 to 10. All right. Now, what I've done is I've got a bear, and you can have this template too, but I'm sure you could probably do your own. I'm going to roll the dice on my virtual dice roller here, and let's see what we come up with. Oh, it says 6. Okay. There's 6. And then it says, and there's 2 lines that you'll see up at the top here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And there's 6. So we have a 6 and a 6. And you have this space here. This is the design, 6 and 6, that you'll pop in. The reason why it is so great, and I'm lagging, it'll catch up. I'm going to pop into FaceTime here. I'm not sure why that's lagging today. Oh, we kind of be stuck. I'll show you in my FaceTime. Okay. Just excuse me for the... So I picked one of those lines on the bear. And it's right there. So I'm going to fill this line all the way. Notice the color. You choose any color you want to fill the line. So now I want to do another one, and let's see if that's refreshed yet. No, it's just being crazy. Okay, fail forward. I'm going to do one more with you, and I'm rolling my dice again. So it wants 4 and 4. So I go 4, and under here is 4, and it's a spider web. So then, and you could do this with your kids or virtual Skype. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose this piece here, and I'm going to make the spider web. Like that. Like that. And I'm going to go all the way up here with the spider web. You may want to paint the colors in and then do this as a game. And I'll add the, you can roll a dice for the color too. Okay. Then we're going to move. This is a good example of fail forward. Okay. It's frozen. Ah! I want to give you 3 ways to be successful and intentional as an artist. I'm now looking for my book. Oh, it's under my... Drawn from the first chapter. And planning your growth as an artist or creative person means we need to move forward somehow. And when we're not moving forward and creating, nobody's getting to see the work. Well, how do I become successful and get eyes on my work? And I've given you some examples of using those teaching tools. Use teaching tools that are related to your style of art. Don't make it like a quick, I want to say that we get together in the evening and we all do the same picture. That's great. That's wonderful. However, there needs to be some intention as to why we're all coming together and doing one painting. What are you going to do with that after? So this is an example of being intentional, is thinking about the steps. Now, it took me a bit of my own intentional and being consistent to come and do these lives. I'm on day 7. Yeah! Because I wanted to wait for the right time to get started. Next week. When I figure out what I'm going to do, people are going to see me, right? So here's the thing that is said. It's not the right time to start. This is next day, next year. I'll take that course. I'll pay for that art training, or I'll pay for mentorship or coaching. I'll do that when I have some money, and it gets put on there, on the back burner. The longer you wait to do something, the greater the odds you'll never do it. So I set myself up for failure because as an artist, I want to grow my list. And by the way, I'd love if you would subscribe to my newsletter. We'll have all the art lesson plans, the games, or like, comment, and share what you're seeing if you like it. There's a solution, and I'll give you a solution to each one of this, but it's the waiting game. We're waiting on ourselves. Do you ever hear that saying that we are our worst enemies? Oh, there you go. My own thinking getting in the way. Number 2, I'm not good enough. I got to wait until I'm really good. I want to do this Facebook Live, when I'm really good. So my question to myself is, when will that be? What does looking really good look like? And then I thought to myself, it could be, how about a month? I waited a month to do Facebook Lives. I waited longer than that. I'll tell you the honest truth. Showing up is really difficult to do because the next one is about mistakes. I'll look like an amateur. Foolish. One of the things that I read in the book, and I went, yeah, that's me. Now, how many of us want to get it right because we think inside of ourselves that we look foolish? So here's the thing. The price of learning is doing. And those mistakes are full of gold. How many artists have said to me, how do you know that you do it that way? Or what's your best option? What do you think the best option, your options are? In terms of, would it be acrylic paint? And what What type? Where do I get it? What's the difference between a beginner's foundation acrylic as opposed to golden? What about, why can't I use the cheap stuff and put it in a gallery wall, on a gallery wall? Mistakes. I've made plenty of them, and I've mastered the approach. So, going back to being successful, the 3. First of all, we set ourselves up when we wait. We wait until the end of time and never get there. Or we're not good enough. I'm not good enough. And the mistakes. The solution to number 1 is to ask yourself, where do you want to go if you're waiting? What is it? When is the right time? Why not tomorrow? What can you do? What's that one thing you could do as an artist to show up in the next hour for expressing yourself, for showing your art, for what? When you're waiting, you're asking yourself, what do you want? Where do you want to go? And what does it look like? Because what I was doing was I was looking at artists with the masters in New York, and they had great big exhibitions. I said, why not for me? Why was I shortchanging myself? Putting myself at the bottom. I didn't value myself. Now when I can't get here, if I can't get there if I don't make steps. So if I want to be there, what is it that I can do today? And I came up with a plan. And you can come up with a plan too. The plan is to get started. Number 2, about not being good enough. To who? Where's the measuring tape? Who am I measuring myself up to? Why? Why are they better than I? What is it that they have that I don't have? Can I learn it? Absolutely! Need to face the fear. Facing the fear and overcoming that fear, because that fear never goes away. As an artist, it's always there. It's always going to be there. It's to challenge it and to talk to it. Fact or fiction? Fact is, I may not draw strong, bold lines like they do in the Woodlands art. Fiction, I mean truth. The truth of the matter is, that's not my style. I love to blend. That's my style. Is it realism? No, I don't want it to look like a photograph. There's my truth. Now I'm no longer afraid. Well, what are other people going to think? Well, what are they going to think? This is absolutely great. You showed up. Now you're sharing your art with the world. I get so many comments. Lots of interest. That's step 2. Get yourself out of the way of your own fear. Mistakes. Oh, so many mistakes. I could, as an artist and a creative person, I can tell you how many mistakes just by telling you when I'm doing a dream catcher not to hold the string this way, or when I'm painting, what brushes. You don't need a whole lot of brushes. I have 3 I love. I heard an artist had a sock. One of my students, he painted a whole mural like this with a sock. Talking about mistakes, why did he use a sock? Because that's the only thing he had. But he said it was the best art he ever did. So when we accept mistakes as part of the learning process, ta-da! Those are the 3 key insights of being intentional. Look at those 3 and ask yourself, what are you waiting for? Are you good enough? What's your thinking around your art, your creativity? Have you started a creative project? Or do you knit? Do you do paper mache? Do you plaster, carve? Like, what is it that you're saying to yourself? If it's perfection, perfection doesn't exist. And last, mistakes. We're all going to make them. And they sell. Don't get me wrong, they sell. Because when we're doing art, everybody wants to do the perfect art. And do we get started? I didn't. Nah. Because that's not my style. And so those three key things are important and great also to bring up a younger generation. So if you've liked my broadcast and day 7, zentangle, I've given you some ideas, book study, zentangle, and how the 3 things to be successful. Please drop a comment, like and or share, and I will so appreciate you. Stay tuned for tomorrow, day 8. Love you all. Bye-bye for now.